But before we talk about the powerhouses, we have to start with the Queen. Most fans know her as the only S rank who can smell mana, but do you know the hidden legend who actually taught her how to dance with a blade? Let's uncover the lethal grace of Chaw Hae-In. When people look at Chaw Hae-In, they see the dancing blade, the unstoppable S-rank queen of the Hunters Guild. But most people rarely stop to look at the man who actually taught her how to dance with a sword. There's a common misconception that an S-rank's elite skill is just a gift from their awakening, as if they just woke up one day with master-level precision. But in reality, Chaw's lethality has a much more human origin. It's a secret that doesn't start in a high-rank dungeon, but inside a quiet, traditional Kundo dojo. Long before she earned her S-rank title, Chaw Hae-In was a dedicated student of Sung Jin-Woo. Now, if you followed the anime or the manga, you know the world basically dismisses this guy as just another C-rank mage, someone who's just there to fill the gaps in a raid party. But that's where the world is wrong. Sung Jin-Woo is a Kundo master whose technical brilliance rivals even the elite. While other hunters rely purely on raw mana and overwhelming force, Chaw was perfecting the art of the blade under Master Song's discipline. This is exactly why she shows absolute respect to a hunter far below her rank. To the world, he's a C rank, but to Chaw, he is the very foundation of her survival. We even see this connection reflected in solo leveling Arise. Her legendary Mind's Eye skill, that's not just a random game mechanic, it's a direct manifestation of the focus she learned from Master Song. The game tracks her peak stats, but it was Master Song who gave her the soul of a warrior. This bond proves that technical mastery can bridge the massive gap between a C rank and a god-tier hunter. But the most incredible part, this legacy transcends even the world's reset. In the sequel, solo leveling Ragnarok, even after the universe changed, the sword remains the only constant in her life. It proves that some bonds are written in destiny, existing beyond ranks and magical stats. Whether she's clearing a dungeon or fighting through a rift, every swing of her blade echoes the quiet teachings of her old master. If Chaw Hae-In is the perfection of the blade, our next hunter is the definition of absolute precision. He traded his magic for Olympic gold, but his soul never forgot its true aim. From the leader of the strongest guild to a national hero, let's look at the Iron Sight, Lim Tae-Gyu. He's the master of the Reaper Guild, also known as the Fiend Guild, and Korea's #1 ranger. But there is a dark irony to his power. He was once the leader of the strongest guild in the country, only to watch his empire slip away. Today, we're breaking down the lethal lore of the man they call the Iron Sight, from the Jeju Island massacre to his secret life after the world reset. In the anime, we see Lim Tae-Gyu as the cool, collected archer during the S-rank gatherings, but in the manga, his role is much more tactical. Unlike other hunters who rely on physical weapons, Lim manifests magic arrows made of pure mana. He is a one-man artillery unit. However, the Jeju Island raid revealed his greatest weakness, a fatal lack of speed. When faced with the Ant King, Beru, Lim realized that in the world of S-ranks, precision means nothing if you can't see your target move. This struggle makes him one of the most human and relatable S-ranks, a specialist fighting to stay relevant in a world dominated by monsters. This is the part most fans miss. When Sung Jin-Woo used the Cup of Reincarnation to reset the timeline, the gates vanished, and Lim Tae-Gyu's life as a guildmaster was erased. In this new world, he didn't have his mana bow, but his soul didn't forget its aim. He became a professional archer, winning gold for South Korea as an Olympic champion. For decades, he lived as a national hero in sports, completely unaware that he once led the most powerful guild in the country. He traded magic for medals, but his destiny was far from over. Everything changed when the Idering gods began their invasion. As mana started leaking back into the world, Lim Tae-Gyu was among the first of the old guard to reawaken. In solo leveling Ragnarok, he isn't just a hunter anymore. He is a seasoned veteran and a mentor to the new generation, including Sung Soo-ho. His experience is now his greatest weapon, proving that even without the system, his soul remembers how to hunt. He traded his peaceful retirement to become the shield and the arrow that humanity desperately needed once again. Lim Tae-Gyu proves that being a hero isn't about being the strongest. It's about never losing your aim, even when the world changes around you. He's the bridge between the old era of hunters and the new war against the gods. From a guild master to an Olympic champion, and finally an old guard veteran, his mission remains the same. One shot, one kill. Because in the world of solo leveling, kings may fall, but the iron sight never misses. Precision can win a battle, but sometimes you just need a wall that refuses to break. While Lim Tae-Gyu strikes from afar, this next hunter stood at the front lines of the Jeju Island massacre, absorbing hits that would kill any other S-rank. This is the iron-clawed truth of the human fortress, Ma Dong-Wook. Most fans remember Ma Dong-Wook as the massive S-rank tanker, the literal wall of the Fame Guild, and the man who stood toe-to-toe with the monsters of Jeju Island. But there is a much more brutal truth hidden behind his heavy armor. It wasn't just a high rank that made him a legend, it was his giant's shield and a physical constitution that defied the laws of biology. Today we are going to break down the ironclad secret of Ma Dong-Wook and why he was the only human wall capable of standing between a massacre and survival. On the surface, being a tanker follows a set of simple, terrifying rules. Draw the aggro, absorb the impact, and never back down. But what the series slowly reveals is that for DongWuk, these weren't just tactical commands, they were his survival instincts. While other hunters relied on flashy magic or speed, Ma Dong-Wook was built to find a way to endure the unendurable. He possessed a physical fortitude that forced even the most terrifying bosses to halt their advance. This is why he didn't just stand there and take hits. He controlled the battlefield with his gravity. It was a simulation of a mountain facing a storm hidden in a man who refused to break. This is where the anime and the manhwa revealed the true horror of a tanker's burden. In the anime, we feel the visceral tension as the S-rank team prepares for the ultimate raid, but in the manhwa, you realize that the tanker role was a heavy cross to bear. The Jeju Island raid was the only place where the limits of a human body could be tested against a king. Ma Dong-Wook chose the front lines because he was the only one with the mental and physical armor to survive the initial clash. Even when Beru's speed was too much and he took a brutal beating to protect his team, his spirit never wavered. The manhwa makes it clear, Ma Dong-Wook wasn't just a leader, he was the foundation that held the line, trusting his healers like Min Byung-gyu to mend his broken body so he could stand up and fight again. In the game, Solo Leveling Arise, Ma Dong-Wook is brought to life as the ultimate test of a player's defense and counter strategy. You aren't just a meat shield, you are fighting with power of destruction and the importance of shield bash timing. The game emphasizes the defense to damage scaling, forcing you to turn your durability into a weapon. If you ignore his timing and positioning, your entire backline is wiped out in seconds. The game makes something clear that the anime is just starting to show. Ma Dong-Wook is a strategic masterpiece of a tank. It turns the shield from a simple tool into a permanent reminder that in this world, the best offense is an impenetrable defense. But to understand his true strength, you have to look at the years of silence. After Sung Jin-Woo used the Cup of Reincarnation to reset the world, the gates vanished and the mana disappeared. In this new timeline, Ma Dong-Wook wasn't a hunter, he was an elite professional weightlifter. He traded his giant shield for iron bars and heavy plates, using his God-given strength to bring glory to South Korea in the world of sports, completely unaware of the monsters he once fought in another life. However, when the Ataram gods began their invasion and the mana started leaking back into the world, the Iron Fortress didn't hesitate. Even without his old memories, his body remembered the duty. As the gates reopened, Ma Dong-Wook was among the first of the old guard to reawaken, reclaim his S-rank power, and step back onto the front lines to mentor the next generation like Sung Soo-ho. History might call him just another athlete who became a hunter, but the lore knows him as the Iron Fortress that stood tall when the gods themselves tried to tear the world apart. His shield wasn't just metal, it was the cradle of Korea's hope.